Hello, hello. Welcome to Mindset to Results. And today our guest is John Hewitt. He is founder and CEO of Loyalty Brands, and he is a serial entrepreneur well known for creating two national retail chains through franchising. Hi, John.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being a guest on our podcast show. Tell us
Always a
a
pleasure.
little, yes, tell us a little bit about you and how your journey started and how you achieved such a great success. You created two companies, and as you said, one of them went public and became a billion dollar company. So it is a great success, and I'm sure that our listeners and our audience can learn so much from you. That's why we will do together those series of episodes, so to provide them more value and where you can share your experience so people can benefit from it and also build their great success.
Awesome. I'm here to help. So I've been in franchising for 55 years. I started when I was at the University of Buffalo working part-time for H&R Block. Loved it. 12 years later, I was running 250 H&R Block locations, and my dad decided that we should computerize taxes. He was the CFO of a public company. So in 1981, we both quit our jobs and built first tax software for an Apple computer. No one wanted it, way ahead of its time. Got blessed, and I found a company in Virginia Beach called Mel Jackson Tax Service. We bought 6 offices from his widow. We merged the two companies, the computer company and Mel Jackson. We changed the name to Jackson Hewitt. We went public, and 15 years later, sold it for $483 million. I had a 3-year non-compete, didn't cover Canada because Jackson Hewitt had never gone to Canada. And having grown up in Buffalo, I knew the Canadian tax system. So we opened Liberty Tax in Canada. And within 3 years, became a top 100 retail chain. When my night ended, came back to the United States, and now I had to compete against myself, my own name, my own people, my own system at Jackson Hewitt. And yet we grew faster than them and H&R Block combined. We opened 4,000 offices in 12 years, almost one office a day for 12 years, top 10 fastest growing franchisor ever. My second public company, my second company that was worth 500 million, sold my stock. And now we have Loyalty Brands, and Loyalty Brands has 8 different franchisors. We have 3 different focuses. One is tax and accounting, which I've done for 55 years. We also have construction, led by our roofing division. And then we have the fastest growing is our pet division. People are just loving their pets. And we're number one already in the country in mobile pet grooming with Zoom and Grooming Pet Service. So we have 3 different initiatives, 8 different companies, and this should be my third 500 million plus company and second billion-dollar company.
Amazing, amazing. And it is such a big diversity from tax and accounting to construction and to pet grooming. Wow, amazing. So tell us what helped you to grow these companies so fast.
The actually to grow is chaotic. Is when you grow exponentially, it's chaotic, and so you have to. And there's really no school in the country on how to be a CEO in any company, let alone a fast growth company. So it's called the School of Hard Knocks. So the School of Lessons Learned. And I just had to be a great student for the last 55 years on how to handle people, how to grow. I was blessed to watch H&R Block grow while I was there, from 3,000 locations to 9,000 locations. And Jackson Hewitt peaked at 6,000 locations. Liberty peaked at 4,000 locations. So I've been part of fast growth for my entire career. Just a blessing. But you had to learn. I had to learn it on the fly, from mistakes. They say that people that are most successful have made the most mistakes, and so I probably made more mistakes than anyone you ever met.
Yeah, that is a great attitude to learn from mistakes. So, what you would like to share today from this huge experience of 55 years? What do you think is the most important things for entrepreneurs and business owners to know, especially those ones who just start business or maybe in the initial stage of their growth?
About 6 weeks ago, someone asked me, the most common question I get asked is, so what's the most important thing? If you can name one most important thing in exponential growth, what is it? And I thought to myself, finally, after being asked that thousands of times, I said, there isn't just one thing. And so I sat down. I love top 10 lists, starting with the 10 commandments in the Bible. And so I sat down and said, what are the top 10 most important things in how to grow exponentially? And it actually ended up being 12. And even though it's 12, I call it my top 10 list because if the Big Ten football conference can have 18 teams, then my top 10 list can have 12 different items. So I have 12 items on how to grow. What are the key elements in growing exponentially?
Okay, great. So let's discuss them one by one. And in our future episodes, we will dedicate a whole episode to each of these steps so our listeners can learn from you and start implementing that the most important this knowledge in their businesses.
Great. I'll give you a few seconds on each one or a minute on each one. The first one is integrity. The If you always do what you say you're going to do, then you'll be successful. And the difference between honesty and integrity is honesty is about the past, integrity is about the future. And if I make a commitment to you, then I am serious about giving everything I have to meet that commitment. And that is so rare. The second is I try to do the best for each and every person I meet. When it's good for me too, then that's incredible. But I'm always want what's best for each person, and that drives my relationships. The I'm Thirdly, I'm committed to have the best system, and I've always had the best system in my industry. And to have the best system, it has to be improving. If you're not improving, your competitors catching you. So improvement is key to number three. Listening to customers. It doesn't matter, Elena, if you think the customer is happy or I think they're happy, or if you think we're doing a good job. It only matters if they do. And so you need to listen to your customers. And so we actually call customers and ask them how we did for them. And next is listening to employees. In tax business, for example, for every 250 customers, I had one employee. Well, I don't have time to listen to, we've done 100 million tax returns. I don't have time to listen to 100 million customers. But so you need to empower your employees to give you guidance as to how to take the pulse of changing environment, changing times, what customers want this year versus last year, and so forth, and how the customers are changing. You have to have a fairly accurate vision. And it has to be a of the future, and it has to be a bold, audacious vision. If you have a modest vision that you're going to grow by 10% a year, well, then you're going to grow by 5 to 10, 15% a year. But we set our goal when we started Jackson Hewitt in 1982. We had 6 offices, and Block had 9,000. And we said, you know what? One day we're going to have 9,000 offices. We need to add 8,995 offices. So the goal has to be fairly accurate, and it has to be big. You have to get everyone to buy in. When you start a company, you have investors, you have employees, you may have franchisees, you have vendors, customers. You have to get everyone to buy into your vision. You have to be excited about it and communicate it well. Delegation, next. Most managers in this country, way over half, are poor delegators. They're best, they're average. And delegation is key to massive growth. It can be learned. Unlike some other skills, delegation can be learned, but it's such a big mistake that most people make. Hard work. Everything worthwhile requires hard work. Whether you're a great athlete, whether you're a great spouse, parent, or build a great business, it requires hard work. Attitude is next. Tom Watson Sr., the founder of IBM, said, give me 100 people with great attitude or 100 people that are great engineers. I'll take the people with great attitudes, because you can train engineering. And biggest mistake I've ever made, one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made, is trying to change people's attitude. Never did it for more than temporary. If someone starts with a bad attitude, I've changed it to a good attitude for an hour, a week, a month, but they pop right back into that bad attitude. You can't change them. They have to change. That change has to come from within. You have to build systems. So you have to have a systemic approach. Whenever you see something that's going to happen over and over again, you have to build systems to handle them, so you don't have to face a surprise each and every time it happens. So you have to, I call it tip of the iceberg. When a problem arises, you have to decide, is this a one-off problem, or is this something that's going to happen, recurring problem? And then finally, the most important thing in building greatness is perseverance. God didn't put any, I've never seen any human being that didn't face adversity. Everyone gets knocked down and has obstacles, has barriers to overcome. The winners just persevere, and they get up each and every time. So the winners do things that losers don't, and perseverance is the number one most important attribute in success.
Yeah, thank you so much. All of these are very deep and important. Yes, and I am looking forward to discuss all of this in our future episodes. And let's speak a little bit today about the attitude to the failure. As you said, that everyone has upsides and downs. Yes, so the business cannot be built without mistakes and without failures. And people can, especially who start business, they see others who are already successful, and they can blame themselves or beat themselves down, like why I am making that mistake, why am that mistake, and they can feel like they're like failures. So let's discuss this, that the attitude towards mistakes, towards failure, and how to have that perseverance, how to stay no matter how many times you fell down, so how it is important to get up and learn from these mistakes.
Well, remember, I've never been able to change someone's attitude. So let me just emphasize how important it is. If you look at great companies, and there are very few national or international great companies, right? There might be maybe a Chick-fil-A, or certainly there's, if you just stop at greatness, Walmart's great compared to Kmart. And I wondered what the difference was between the executives at Walmart and the executives at Kmart. Said, are they smarter? Are they more experienced? Are they more educated? And no, you can hire the most educated or experienced or smartest. It's all about attitude and then the culture that evolves out of that attitude. The You have to drink the Kool-Aid and be part of a team and a family and a mission on a mission. It's almost it's fanatical. You have to be. Greatness is part of fanatical growth. And if you look at the most successful people on the planet that have done the most, they weren't the smartest, they weren't the most educated. Certainly people like myself, I didn't even graduate college, and either did Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. Steve Jobs, out of Apple, or Bill Gates out of Microsoft, or many others. It wasn't the education, and we all start with no experience. So or most of us start with, we're building something from scratch, like Elon Musk builds Tesla or SpaceX, or building Mark Zuckerberg building Facebook. He didn't have experience, right? So it isn't experience, it isn't education, it isn't intelligence, it's attitude and the culture you bring. And that culture includes, very importantly, your attitude has to be trying to do what's best for everyone, trying to change people's lives, and being a giving person that listens to your staff and includes your staff and allows mistakes.
Yes, and as you mentioned before, that in order to have that attitude, you should have that big audacious goal. Because if the goal is not big enough, you will go sidewalk. Yeah, because it will not motivate you, it will not inspire you, and it will not give you that enough energy to overcome the challenges and get in this track every day despite of what happening.
Yeah, you need to have a vision. If you have a vision of ordinary, then you're at best you're going to get ordinary. If you have a vision of greatness, for example, when we started Jackson Hewitt in 1982 with only 6 offices, and we said we're going to have 9,000. Well, we only got to 6,000, but that's $1 billion company. And there's only been, in the history of the whole United States, there's only been 9,000 $1 billion companies. We got to $1 billion company dreaming of 9,000. We didn't get there, but we still got greatness. We got household name.
Yes, so it is important to have such a big, audacious goal, and you don't need to know how. It's because when you set that goal, as you said, you just had 6 offices. Yes, and you were thinking about 9,000. So let's speak about this, that what is necessary to set that big, audacious goal, as if we don't need to know how.
It's you have to have visions of grandeur. You have to want to make a difference, and you have to separate from everyone around you, because what I've noticed is people around you will try to make you normal. They'll try to bring you back into the box, and don't think outside the box. I mean, don't think so crazy. That's crazy. So, in Rich Dad Poor Dad, uh, Kawasaki says that 90% of people give you advice, but only 5% of people are successful. So why you are incredibly successful? So why are you paying any attention? And so everyone will try to bring you back to normal. So you have to be a black sheep. You have to be a little bit. I like to say I walk the tightrope of insanity. I mean, my goal, that's a crazy goal. No one would ever use the word realistic when they think of my goals. My goals are unrealistic. They're difficult to fathom and difficult to achieve. And we put them out there so that we can achieve greatness. We know that if we make simple goals and meet them, we're never going to do as well as if we make audacious goals and almost meet them.
Yes, and here let's speak a little bit about the power of mind. Yes, that our mind is so powerful, and nobody teaches this at school. And even when you said that you didn't graduate at college or didn't have education, I thought, oh, maybe this is why you became so successful. It can look like a joke, but in every joke, that's the truth.
Yeah, your professors will hold you back.
Yeah, because this power of mind and how to use our high mental faculties, for example, imagination, yes, and ability to hold that picture, that big audacious goal image in your mind and see it as it is real, yes, with your vision when nobody else can see it yet. But if we look at all the inventors, yes, if we look at all people who created really something big that had never existed before, these all people um, were considered by others like crazy, as you said, like insane, because they were telling or speaking something that people said that it cannot be possible. And just because these people saw it already as possible, this is why we now use electricity. This is why now we get on the planes and fly. Yes, and now we use internet. Now we speaking with you when I'm in UK, you are in US. So let's speak a little bit about the power of our mind and how is important to use this power. Although nobody teaches this, when I learned this from my mentor Bob Proctor, I just thought that I want just to shout about this and just tell people, you know, you should know this, because it should be taught in kindergartens and schools how to use our mind. As I had to master degree and I knew about international diplomacy and which agreements were signed in which country and which meetings were in history and who was the president of which company in any year. But that knowledge didn't give me necessary skills to be successful. And then in my 40s, I just started from scratch. I started just searching for knowledge which really I want to implement and that make me a valuable person. So let's speak about this from your perception. Just how did you use power of your mind, and who did you learn from? Because to have that big goal, you had to have somebody like big teacher, like Napoleon Hill, or maybe Jim Rohn, or maybe other big teachers of this, like Earl Nightingale or Neville Goddard, because as you said, it needs persistency, right? And you had to get that power from somebody to stay on that way and hold that vision, in spite of other people could see you ridiculous.
The key is you have to be different. You have to be uncomfortable. You cannot achieve greatness without being uncomfortable. And when I think through history of all of the great inventors, and of course I didn't live when Christopher Columbus, and you recall that they said people thought the world was flat and he was going to fall off the edge. So he had to be different. And if you think about and I enjoy books and movies. And if I look up through history, every great leader faced adversity and people making fun of them and holding them in ridicule. And you certainly see that today over the last in my lifetime, where you see all the inventions like the little Apple computer and the computers, desktop computers, and then cell phones, and then having a camera in your cell phone, and then the internet. and et cetera. It's everything people laugh at that and said that's never going to happen. And pretty soon it's happening. So when you look at someone like Walt Disney, even Walt Disney, right? He went bankrupt 3 different times trying to start his, and he changed the world. Disney's one of the top, 50 Fortune 500 companies by, and it started with Mickey Mouse. And after failing 3 times, even Ray Kroc, who saw this hamburger stand in Los Angeles or in California, Southern California, and he bought this one hamburger stand from the McDonald's brothers, and now there's 80,000 of them around the world. Chicken, um, Colonel Sanders of Kentucky Fried Chicken, he was 65 years old, and he got his first Social Security check, and he went out and bought some chicken with it and went around the neighborhood and sold chicken. And he was 65 years old. 20 years later, he was a billionaire. And there's 35 or 40,000 Kentucky Fried Chickens around the world. It's one of the biggest American chains in China. Even people love Kentucky Fried Chicken in China. So it's you have to go against the grain and do things that other people are unwilling to do.
Yes, and again, as you said, attitude. Many people look at others and they think that, oh, those people could do that. Those people are really like smart, successful, and they're stars. But when they look about themselves, they think that, no, I never can do this, right? So this is I want with this episode to encourage everybody to learn about themselves, because everybody has the same potential. Of course we can have different background, different knowledge, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. As you said, you didn't have even that education. So a real success and ability to make your goal real doesn't depend on your background. As you said, that the founder of Kentucky started just at 65. So it is not about the knowledge, it is not even about the skills, but it is about really asking yourself the question, why am I here, and how I want to live this life, because life passes so fast. I just recently saw the statistics that if we are lucky to live till 80, we have just 4,000 weeks. And it just was such a shocking statistic, like 4,000 weeks. And we all know that every week passes so fast. So it is nothing, yes. And it is not just about other people and thinking that another person is better than you. Nobody is better than you, and nobody is the worse than you. Yes, because everybody is gifted by God and has unique talents and gifts. And it is not that somebody has more gifts than another person. I liked, as you said, the difference is in attitude and difference in beliefs, and also it is in self-esteem and how the person see himself. Yes, like it is also a lot relate to time when we were children, and we know that children which were brought with uh, praise and who were getting compliments from parents, they grow up confident, and this is what makes them different. Yes, they just get idea and they just go for it, and they get it, they learn on the way how to do it, or how which specialist professionals to get it done. And children who are brought up with criticism, they can grow up and be inferior. Yes, so it can be different attitudes, but everybody can change that. And really, if you want to achieve something big, it is important to know that you can do that. And if you have something in your mind, even it is just crazy big, but if you can feel that you have the burning desire, like you're feeling in your gut that you really want that, you can go for it and find out on the way.
And start with a goal. Most people I meet, and I ask everyone that I interview or talk to, so what's your goal? And you know what? Only 10 or 20% of human beings even have a 3 to 5 year goal. So start with a goal, and then um, enhance that goal and grow that goal and be all that you can be.
Yes, and when you set a big goal, you will grow to get that goal. Yes, because the purpose of the goal is not just to have something or get something. The purpose of the big goal is to make you grow. So when you set that big goal, it means that that goal will motivate you and inspire you every day to take certain steps, right? Something that you didn't do before, to get uncomfortable. Yes, because you have like a star. Just see it as your whole, that it is a star, and you get to that star, and you are at this frequency now. The way how you think, the way how you feel, how you act, it is just like being in the channel. Yes, like television, as we know, or radio have different channels, right? So if you want to listen, for example, programs which are at AM frequency, we just get to AM, right? But we never can hear what will be at FM, right? In order to get there, we have to change our channel, change our frequency. It is the same, that there are unlimited numbers of frequencies of these channels, and there are unlimited numbers of future scenarios. And every day, by taking actions towards our goal, we change ourselves. Yes, we do something uncomfortable, and we change the channels gradually. And sometimes when we consistently doing what is really required to grow, sometimes we can experience the quantum leaps, like just suddenly we can just grow not just 10%, 20%, we can go exponentially.
It's the only way to grow exponentially.
Yes, the only way to grow is exponential. And this is what we want to discuss in our future 12 episodes, where we will speak more detailedly about each of the ingredients with John shared today. And we invite you to stay tuned with us, and not only listen and get this knowledge, but really start implement this knowledge, because there is so many so much knowledge. Yes, there are so many books, but not really successful people. And what is the difference is that in implementation. Yes, some people just collect information but never implement them. But if you really want to achieve big success and really become the person who you meant to be, using your high mental faculties, one of them is, which is visualization, and also other gifts which you have, start implementing you what you know, and go towards something that is really uncomfortable, because only doing uncomfortable things will make you grow and will make you become a different person on the way to achieving your audacious goals.
Precisely.
Okay, great. Is it anything else, John, that you would like to add for today's episode before we start our 12 sessions?
Um, I think that a great exercise for your audience would be to set a 5 year goal and then make a list of what you need to change to get there.
Yes, it will be a good exercise before we meet you on our next episode. Think really about your big goal. What if it would be possible? What if there would be no limitations? Because remember that all limitations is just in your mind. There are no limitations. And if you come out of your box, and that box also was not even built by you. This is the most funny thing, that the way how you think today is not what you choose yourself. It is just how you were programmed when you were small, and how you also got programmed by genetically. Yeah, because we all look like our parents and relatives, because most of our genes also genetically, and they store information from many generations which were in the past. Yes, so if you really want to become successful and live the life with fulfillment, achieve your audacious goals, start thinking out of the box and think that everything is possible. What would it be? What would it be that you really would answer to these two questions? Am I able to do that? And the answer should be yes, because you are able to do everything what you just can imagine and think about. And am I willing to do that, right? Like, think this question: am I willing to do everything what it takes to achieve that goal? That this is really something that I want to go in my life, that I want to drain my time, my life to achieve that goal that is so important for us. So think about this and write that goal before we meet you on our next episode, and we will move forward together.
Thank you.
Thank you, John, so much. I'm so happy that we started this series of episodes to share with people the knowledge and experience that you had within your 55 years of your entrepreneurial journey. And I'm looking forward to meet you again for our future episode.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure. Have a wonderful day.
You're most welcome.